Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
way back there.
Yeah. I don't know if you were saying it got worse today or you're just trying to not wear them so you don't feel fine.
I said, yeah.
Might as well. I mean, I like skiing, but you need to go get it?
Watching them. I told somebody, I said, I'm just glad to have it. I don't care what color it is, right? How you like the color?
All right, just everybody needs a copy of each.
I gave everybody
Guess what? I'll tell you something funny. I am too. I've been getting for 20 years. I have to do this. I just don't make these looks. This is funny.
Now let me go around.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'd like to call this Caddo Parish regular meeting to order. It is November 3rd at 3:35. Mr. Clerk, could we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Hopkins.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young. Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Gage-Watts. Commissioner Taliaferro.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Chavez.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Here.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Present.
All right.
You have 7 of 12 members present, and that does constitute a quorum.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, would you please lead us in an invocation? And Commissioner Chavez, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sure. All stand, please.
All right, let's pray. Dear Father, we come to you today, first of all, to say thank you. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to wake up this morning and to be able to do the things that we do. Father, we ask that you will guide us, our hearts and our minds, to do the right things for the citizens of Caddo Parish. Father, we ask that you will protect the men and women that serve our country to keep us free. Father, we also ask that you protect the men and women that serve on our law enforcement agencies so that they will go home the same way that they went to work. Father, we ask all these things in your Son, Jesus' name.
Amen.
Everyone, please face our flag. If you're a military veteran or active duty, you may render a hand-to-brow salute. Please repeat. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. And we'll ask that everybody please remember our POWs and our missing in actions, MIAs. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, that brings us to agenda additions, and I am aware of a potential agenda addition today. It came in this afternoon, and we've not had an opportunity to upload it on the actual agenda. But I can read the title of it, or we can make some copies and distribute. What would you?
Read the title, sir.
Okay. So the title of this document, this is a resolution requesting the Louisiana Department of Motor Vehicles to authorize a satellite location of the Office of Motor Vehicles in West Caddo Parish and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Okay, so we have a motion to add this resolution
I move.
to the agenda. And we have a motion by Commissioner Epperson, a second by Commissioner Taliaferro. We'll need to have a public hearing to open up the floor for people to speak for or against this proposed agenda addition. So at this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak either for or against adding this agenda item? Mr. Clark.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I had a wonderful experience today. My birthday was October 30th, and I realized at a certain point that my driver's license had expired, and trying to find a place to go get my driver's license reinstated. I went over a couple of places, and it would have been much more convenient if I could have just jetted out to West Shreveport, or to live in Greenwood, I could have just jetted out to Shreveport. So I think it would be very advantageous to have a DMV office in West Shreveport.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Anyone else to speak for or against this proposed agenda addition? Seeing no one else, the public hearing is now closed. Any comments before we vote? Anyone on the board? All right, let's vote to either add or not add this resolution to the agenda. Yes would be to add it, no would be to not add it. Please vote.
All right, and that motion carries with 8 in support and none in opposition to add the item. That item will become item 18.2, resolution number 49 of 2022 on your agenda.
Okay.
And one moment, I'm sorry. Okay, that brings us to citizens' comments. I have not received any requests for citizens' comments. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you've received any other than
No,
me?
sir, I have not.
Okay, we do have those forms in the lobby. If somebody is interested in submitting a form for citizen comment, they are available in the foyer and can be turned in here to my left. That brings us to visitors. And today we have one scheduled visitor. We have a visitor from LifeShare Blood Center. If you'd like to make your way up. And commissioners, you should have received, he had some handouts to go along with this presentation. You should have those at your desk.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you, Mr. President, commissioners, staff, and members of the community. My name is Jody Webb, and I'm here today to represent LifeShare Blood Center. But before I do, I just want to say a personal comment. I've spent 23 years as a teacher in public schools, as a social studies teacher. So it's a great honor for me to be here in front of you today. I know citizens are allowed to come and speak at the commission at any time, but to be your guest today means a lot to me because I understand the weight of the position that you carry, and I appreciate your diligence and your professionalism as you represent Caddo Parish.
Thank you. Come visit anytime.
Yes, sir. Plan to. Now I'd like to talk about, I have some good news today. I feel like it's always good to start a presentation with good news and gifts. So I have brought gifts for every one of the Caddo commissioners today. One of the items that I brought you is a stress ball, which I'm sure every one of you could use one. You can welcome to bring it with you when you come to give blood on one of our mobile donations, or just have it in your office. I've also brought a number of t-shirts. If I did not bring the right size for you, please let me know. I picked a number of sizes, but we just wanted to share our appreciation for you and let you see some of the things that we are doing. As far as the good news, there are several things I would like to tell you. First of all, as I'm sure you've heard, or maybe not, this is LifeShare's 80th birthday. This is 80 years in service to the community of Shreveport and to Caddo Parish. And I think that deserves a round of applause. Just that. What a lot of people don't know and realize is that LifeShare was the first blood donation center in the United States. And as of today, and hope to stay that way, we are the #1 blood donation center in the United States. Continuing on good news, one thing that recently happened, which a lot of people don't realize, that LifeShare also does research. Two of the items that were keeping people, especially our military personnel in our community, from donating were, one, they lived in Europe during mad cow, or two, they were exposed to anthrax. I'm pleased to tell you today that this year in 2022, LifeShare cleared both anthrax and mad cow disease as blockages to donating blood. The final one I cannot give you all the details of yet, but I'm very excited as an account manager and someone who does exactly what I'm doing here today, is that LifeShare has now developed an online process for people to register, not only just register, but when they come to the blood drive, there's a certain questionnaire that you have to go through. Making this or moving this questionnaire online is going to reduce the blood donation process as far as time needed by at least 1/3 and maybe more. We don't even really know, but we're all excited about it. So, and the main reason why I came here to you today is that we need help. and this is the help that we need. I have two handouts for you today. One is an invitation to an event, and of course, all of you in the audience are invited as well. We are having a community health fair event on November 19th in partnership with Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, and we're going to make it a health fair. We're inviting several community health partners to come out with us, but this is primarily a partnership between Pleasant Hill Baptist Church and LifeShare, and we're going to offer a free turkey or ham voucher to anyone that donates, which I think is very timely for Thanksgiving. And it actually, I'm pleased to say, as the one who was able to schedule it, is the first of the events that we're having that week, is the very first event of the week-long events of us giving away hams and turkeys to people who donate blood. So I want to encourage you. Actually sent you an email. I was so eager to come to this meeting that I actually showed up a week early, and I sent you an email a week early last Thursday that had both of these items in it. I just want to encourage you to share it with as many people as possible. We want as many people as possible to come out, of course, and donate blood and receive the gift of a free voucher for either a ham or turkey. And that, again, will be November 19th at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. Secondly, we need your help. There are 3 other people like me right now. Hopefully some of them are finishing their day, some are still in their day. And what we do is we go out and we meet with people, businesses, churches, schools, and of course our government partners like you. And we ask them, would you please sponsor a blood drive? Now, that may sound like a lot, but it's really not that much of a complicated process. And actually today I've made it very easy for you, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And so I chose, like I did 3 years ago, I'm originally from Monroe, but I chose 3 years ago to come to Shreveport because I wanted opportunities for myself and my family. Not only that, when I took this position after moving out of the teaching field and taking this position with LifeShare, I specifically asked for downtown Shreveport and North Caddo Parish because I have a real passion for it in my heart. I love the architecture, I love the arts, I love the flavor, I love the culture of downtown Shreveport. But there are 3 other people doing the same job in Bossier Parish, down in Coushatta, and North DeSoto, and we need your help. Well, each one of you has someone that represents your area, and possibly more than one, but we usually give it to one person so there's no confusion. So what I've done today is you should all have, I didn't keep one for myself, unfortunately, but you should all have a handout that shows you how easy it is to schedule a blood drive, and I've given you 3 ways to do it. One, you can call the LifeShare number, and there's a option for you says to schedule a blood drive. Press Commissioner Chavez. What number is that?
Press 3.
Press 3, and it will take your information, and one of us will call you back. One of us 4 will call you back to schedule a blood drive. The second way is I've included a QR code, which if you have a QR code reader on your phone. All you have to do is scan that, and it will take you right to the part of our LifeShare page where you can request a blood drive. Or, of course, you can call me. I've made that option as well. Some people just like to call. It's easier. If you're not as tech savvy, just call me, and I'll make sure we get the right person. I wish Commissioner Jones was here today. He was actually the first commissioner that I met from your body. And he challenged me in one of my first events. He said, we want more events for our community. We were over at one of the many parks in Caddo Parish having an event with some other organizations like we like to do. And he challenged us to get more events, especially in the African American community. So I'd like to speak to that just for a moment because we have a real need to reach the African American community. And we are making phone calls, we're sending emails, we're going out in person. But I believe in the power of connection. And I believe that each one of you knows someone probably who either has a business or is a member of a church or some kind of organization where we're doing fairly well with our schools. I would like to mention that, and I would like to commend a couple of schools right off the bat, and that is Booker T. Washington High School recently broke their record for blood donation for the second time this year, and that deserves a round of applause. Green Oaks High School also broke their previous record. In fact, they nearly doubled what they have done in the past. So I'd like to, yes, that deserves a round two. And all of our schools are performing very well because they understand the need. But two, in our schools, they can receive an honor cord, and we also, LifeShare, what LifeShare does, we have a Life Scholar program in which for each unit of blood collected at a school, we give $10 towards a scholarship, and they have a certain number of units that they have to reach to obtain the scholarship. And I would like to tell you, since I'm the one, and I know them personally, with Green Oaks and Booker T. Washington are already halfway to their goal, and this will be their first time to both receive that scholarship at their schools when we finish the job in April. So what can you do? Help us by connection. Like I said, if you know someone who has a business, is a member of a church, or in a government body such as this, anyone you know, and we only need 10 people. I mean, that may seem ridiculous, but I'm going to tell you why. We only need 10 people to commit to the idea and to the process of donating blood wherever we go. Because here's our option, and you've probably seen this if you've been to a Walmart recently. You've probably seen a LifeShare bus at least once in the past year. Because when we don't when we don't get bookings for businesses, churches, schools, and government partners, we go park our bus at Walmart and we pray that someone gets on the bus. Now, sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. But in most cases, it's a lot easier if you have 10 people in an organization. For example, we just recently managed to partner with gastrointestinal specialists, both their main office and their big office out on Maple Street. And we had 11 people right off the bat in both offices speak up and step up to donate blood. We'll be having that drive on November 8th. So this is how it works. We bring our mobile bus, or we can set up inside, as some of our churches allow us to do. And even some of our businesses have a room where we can go and set up inside. That really helps during these winter months. And we have our team, they come out, and we collect the blood, and we try to make it as painless of an experience as possible, with that exception of the moment where the needle is inserted in your arm. And then we thank you for your blood donation. You get a free t-shirt like the one we're giving today. And in some cases we have great promotions like the turkey and ham promotion that we're having right before Thanksgiving, because the need is great. Now, just to give you an idea, and I will close here in a moment, but just to give you an idea, if all 12 commissioners was here, this is how it would look. More than 2/3 of you would represent 3 blood types: type O negative, type A positive, and type O positive. Those are the 3 most prevalent blood types in the United States, no matter where you go. That's just how it falls. As you may know, type O negative is the universal donor. Anyone of any blood type can receive type O negative, but type O negative can also only receive from themselves. And most of these other blood types, all of these other blood types, with the exception of AB negative, can only receive from themselves or type O negative. This is why LifeShare is on the road almost 365 days a year. We do take off for Thanksgiving and Christmas and a couple of other holidays, is because the need is great. We had a day this summer, gentlemen and ladies, where we only had 4 units of type O negative blood in our entire organization, which includes Alexandria, Lake Charles, Beaumont, El Dorado, and Monroe. 4 units. Thankfully, our United We Give campaign was hugely successful, and we had our largest donation response ever. But the need never ends. Now, one thing I would like to commend Shreveport, we had actually a great Halloween weekend. There were very few, we were prepared for many incidents, where people are not quite as careful and they have accidents and things like that. But this season we didn't have that. However, as you know, we have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, which is 2 holidays where people travel a lot. And that's where the need comes in when we have accidents. So let me just put it this way. If you or someone you know have ever been in an accident and needed blood, raise your hand. If you or someone you know have ever been in the hospital and had a procedure where they needed blood, raise your hand. So you can see right here there were many hands that went up, and that's why we have the need. So all I would ask you to do is to please help us by forwarding the email that has the same information as this handout of how to schedule a blood drive. What we would love to see is the entire commission come together and pick a spot, and all the commissioners have a blood drive at once. That would be awesome. But we know that that often can't happen, and we need to get out to your neighborhoods. Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Watts, Commissioner Burrell, all of you, Commissioner Hopkins, I'm working in your district. We're having a couple of drives up in Vivian soon, and Oil City as well. Hope you can come out and make it. During the turkey and ham drive too, so just to let you know, you'll see those signs going up very soon. So once again, I just want to thank you. I'm glad to handle any questions that you have about this process.
We have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to answer them.
Sure, thank you, President. Mr. Webb, thanks for coming out. This has been a very informative presentation. The frequency that one could donate.
Yes.
What is it?
It's about, if you do 1 unit, you can donate every 56 days. We usually ask you wait 57. So for example, I donated last on September 2nd of this year, and November 2nd, I became eligible to vote, or to vote. I became eligible to donate again. We have other people, especially when we come across rare blood types, we ask them to give 2 units of blood, which means it doubles the amount of time, so about 104 days until they're able to donate again.
Okay. And then lastly, this is really cool what you guys are doing on the turkey. I know usually you get a cookie, so
right.
A turkey's pretty awesome.
Yes, sir.
Before you leave, can you get with Crystal? Crystal, if you can raise your hand. She's our marketing extraordinaire, and she works for the parish doing all the PR stuff. If we could share this on here,
yes.
This would be beneficial for the citizens to know.
As I mentioned, I emailed all of you last Thursday because I thought that was the date of the meeting, and I'll be very glad to send that again.
Thanks for coming down here so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the stress balls. Thanks,
yes,
President.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Commissioner Stormy-Gage Watts has a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Webb, for coming down.
Thank you.
I just wanted to reiterate the importance of giving blood. I think you did a great job with the presentation about it, and also wanted to let you know that I make sure that we have a blood drive monthly.
Thank you.
And they're also happening in my district in
Wonderful.
the Sickle Cell Disease Association as well. So we understand the importance of it, and we're taking care of it in District 7.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watts. Mr. Webb, thank you for coming down. I think
yes.
that's all the questions, and we'll get this information
Yes,
circulated.
sir. If I have one special request before I do have to leave early, could I get a picture with any commissioners who'd be willing to take a picture right quick? Do we have someone who can take a picture for us?
Crystal? Yeah, come on.
Or would I need?
All right, let's make it quick.
Okay.
Do we need to suspend the rules? Are we in favor of suspending the rules?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you for that. I
Let's
really
make it quick.
appreciate
We've
it.
got an agenda to get through.
I understand.
For an old social studies teacher.
Yes.
I get the president in the middle. Come on, President.
Are we balanced?
Commissioner Gage, you could have sat this out.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very
all.
much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as well.
Okay, I'd like to bring us back into.
Motion to
So
go back.
moved.
Thank you. I think that's by acclamation, so we're back in session, formal session now. Mr. Clerk, let's go ahead.
That brings us to adopting regular session minutes.
So-
You actually have the minutes of the last regular session from
Motion
October
to
20th
Globo.
and special
The
session.
regular session meeting from October, the special meeting, special session minutes, the budget introduction on October 27th, and the special resolutions 8-1, 8-2, 8-3.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to englobo and approve regular session minutes from October 20th, the special session minutes from October 27th, and special resolutions 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3. Any comments here? Just as we pause for a minute, are we going to actually read any of these special resolutions? How do you?
No, sir, I'll be mad tomorrow.
Okay, does anyone need to read their resolution during
Just
this?
for the record, 8.2 is scheduled to be presented at your next work session.
Okay, all right, thank you. So let's vote.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition, 1 absent. That brings us to communiques and committee reports.
Okay, everybody interested in communication committee reports, please get on the board. Anybody?
And of course, we have administrative response from information requests from commissioners at this time as well. I don't
We
know.
don't have anything
I don't
today.
think there were any, but
No,
None today, sir.
no comments from Dr. Wilson, and I see no one on the board. Okay, let's carry on.
great. That brings us to the president's report.
I will just make a quick statement. I think many of you know that I was asked to speak at the mayor's State of the City today. You know, as you all know, when you serve as president, you're asked to speak and represent the parish. We all do our best to represent the parish. I'm not trying to make any political statements. I'm just trying to do my job as the president of the commission. So I'll go down and try to represent the parish and get our job done and move on. So just want to let you all know about that. That meeting does start at 5:30, so that's why I'm pushing a little bit to make sure we finish on time. I'll have to step out at 5 or so, and if so, Commissioner Burrell will take my spot. Commissioner Epperson is on the board.
Yes, sir, just make sure you announce that Caddo Parish is veteran friendly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrell?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I just drove in from a meeting in Monroe on passenger rail, and there was a lot of important, I would say, important people there from Amtrak, congressmen and senators that was there, mayors from 4 different cities, Vicksburg, Monroe. Well, our mayor wasn't there, I guess he's campaigning, but also Ruston, who informed us that they're already starting to build their train stations, and they also talked about funding, and it was very, very positive. Senator Cassidy was there saying that he's pushing to move it ahead. There was a senator from Mississippi, I forget her name, but she was there, and she was pushing, so everything seemed to be going in a good direction.
Thank you. And Commissioner Burrell, I meant to thank you for being there. I was actually zoomed in on that and saw you in attendance, so I appreciate you representing the parish at that event. There was some good information exchanged and helped me figure out how we need to, well, Dr. Wilson, we just need to figure out how to stay in tune to that and be helpful in any way we can with the, what is the association that was facilitating that, the rail?
The Southern Rail Commission.
Southern Rail Commission. Again, thank you, Commissioner Burrell, for attending that. All right, Mr. Clerk, we're ready to move on.
All right, that brings us to our next section is public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases. We have 2 in this section today. Would you like me to go ahead and read both of them, and then we'll open the public hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, the first item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6262 related to 22-20-P. That's an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located on the east side of Flournoy Lucas Road, approximately 650 feet south of Winterweedle Road, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from RA Rural Agricultural Zoning District to C2 Corridor Commercial Zoning District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 12. The next item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6263 related to 22-21-P. That's an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located east of Cessna Drive, approximately 1,320 feet south of East Flournoy Lucas Road, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Residential Zoning District to R15 Single Family Residential Zoning District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 9.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'd now like to open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance number 6262 and 6263. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition to either of these two ordinances, please come forward. Seeing no one. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Epperson.
Yes, I'd like to speak in reference to ordinance number 6262. I've met with the applicant as well as the opponent that appeared previously before. Went out physically, toured the area, and there is no opposition. It has an understanding, and I will be asking for unanimous approval on this at the appropriate time.
Thank you for letting us know about that, Commissioner Epperson, and thank you for your proactive response to this issue and addressing the issue in person, as is your tendency to do. So thank you very much for that. Okay, seeing no one else coming up for the public hearing is now closed, and we'll move forward, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, that brings us to our public hearing for regular ordinances today, where we also have two items in this section. The first item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6265 of 2022. That's an ordinance to amend Chapter 4, Article 2, Division 3, relative to alcoholic beverage employee handling cards, to provide for compatibility with City of Shreveport requirements for such cards, and otherwise provide with respect thereto, from Commissioner Chavez. And the next item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6266 of 2022, an ordinance adopting the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Shreve Memorial Library for the year 2023.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The public hearing is now, the floor is now open for a public hearing on ordinances numbers 6265 and 6266. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition to either ordinance number 6265 or ordinance number 6266, please come forward. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I am Deonce Sutton, Associate Director for Public Services for Shreve Memorial Library. In the absence of our Library Director, John Tuggle, who is not here with us today, I would like to thank the Commission for holding our public hearing for the library's annual budget adoption. Additionally, I would like to thank the Commission for thinking of and selecting a Shreve Memorial Library location for a second early voting center. During the past year, we have begun to see our numbers return to pre-pandemic. The library is very happy to be fully functioning and providing wonderful services to the residents of Caddo Parish. So on behalf of Shreve Memorial Library, we thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in favor or in opposition to 6265 or 6266? Seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed.
Okay, that brings us to consideration of zoning ordinances for final passage. That first item is ordinance number 6262 relative to 22-20-P.
Mr. President, in the interest of time, I'd like to move to englobo and approve ordinance 6262 and ordinance 6263.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Jackson to englobo and approve ordinance number 60.
We're gonna add 6265, 6266 to that.
To englobo and approve ordinance number 6266 and ordinance number 6263, along with ordinance number 6265 and ordinance number 6266. And that second was by
Second, I'll give it.
sick.
I think it may have been.
Chavez. Well, they're pointing at you, Chavez.
Just trying to get you to where you need to be.
Did you want to speak on your motion?
Oh, no, I said, I'm just trying to get you where you said you need to be.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Epson, you're on the board.
That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Young, you're on the board.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to ask maybe our finance team about the budget for the library. I see that they are ending with a fund balance $6 million below the beginning of the year, and it looks like a lot of that went to debt service. Do y'all know anything about that? Did they just pay off $6 million of debt? Is it going to happen again? Are they going to be okay?
It looks like it's actually capital expenditures, not debt service
Can't hear.
expenditures.
I can't really
Can't
tell
hear.
from the, oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, and so,
There's a little dash.
Mr. Pelton probably could speak to what the capital expenditures are.
Okay, so they probably built a new building or something.
Right, capital is typically one time.
Sure, okay, thanks, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Jackson, you back
Yeah,
on the?
I think we get this question, I think every year. This used to be the John Atkins question. But I think it is a debt service on your new building. And y'all are kind of paying it off a little quicker.
Why don't we, may we ask, is there someone
it
from the
not?
library?
Yeah.
Are you on the library staff, sir? Could please come forward.
Financial guy.
Thank you for coming down. Please introduce yourself and your role with the library.
I'm James Pelton, CFO for the Shreve Memorial Library. This year, we paid off the debt service, which was about $600,000. So that, the debt service is now gone, and that. We budgeted $6 million with the surplus over what we needed to cover next year's expenses, because of course you get, next year you do the expenditures, but you have to wait until the next year to get the things. It was estimated that we could spend as much as $5 or $6 million on the thing, on capital projects. That has really been a slow process. As it actually turns out, we're probably going to be closer to between $1 million and $2 million this year on capital projects, even though it's budgeted. The parish requires us to rebudget every year the capital projects. We handle our accounting and are a discrete component unit of the city of Shreveport. They carry those budget figures across, but it's really an odd situation. But legally, you have to adopt the budget because it's a cattle parish tax. The rest of the things are handled through the city. But like I say, the most we're going to spend is $2 million this year on that.
$2 million in deficit?
In capital projects.
Capital project.
The debt service is gone.
Okay. And
Already.
You're spending that out of your excess funds.
Well, the one property tax is an operating tax only. The second one is a capital operating millage, and that's what we've used since probably 1996 to build the new branches then, and now we have to renovate and do major repairs on them out of those funds.
And so that property millage builds over time, and then when you have a big capital project, you spend it down?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Well,
thank you.
That's good to hear, and I'll just point out that I appreciate the library helping with the renovations to the downtown library in preparation for Southern University's law school capital upgrades as well. So appreciate them on that, and I think, I don't think there's any objection to it. That was just some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That
Thank you.
that answers everybody's questions, I believe. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Okay, seeing no one else on the board, let's vote. Thank you for that
Right,
clarification,
and that motion
Commissioner
to
Jackson.
Globo and adopt passes with 12 in support, none in opposition. That moves us on to section 15, zoning ordinances. We have none today. Likewise, for introduction, we also have no items for introduction under ordinances. Just as a side note, we do have some items that will be introduced in your next meeting that may have been discussed in the past, but we're set for introduction at a later date in these sections. We have none today. That brings us to work session minutes, where our work session minutes are attached for October 31st.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts to approve, a second by Commissioner John Paul Young. Any comments, Commissioner? No. All right, let's vote, please.
All right, and that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to resolutions, where we have two items to consider today. The first is Resolution 48 of 2022. That's a resolution approving the holding of an election in Caddo Parish Fire District Number 6 near the state of Louisiana on Saturday, March 25th, 2023, to authorize continuation of a special tax and the renewal of a service charge therein.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Lazarus to adopt, a second by Commissioner Johnson. Any comment, Commissioner
No, sir.
Lazarus? Okay. Commissioner Jackson, is that new or old? You're
It's
on the
new.
board.
Move to englobo and adopt resolution number 48, the new resolution on the polling location as
Okay.
well.
DMV.
DMV,
So 48 and 49?
49.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a resolution by Commissioner Jackson to englobo and adopt resolution number 48 and resolution number 49 dealing with the DMV.
And for those who may be interested in or maybe haven't seen it, we did get an opportunity to upload that file. So if you refresh your digital agenda, the agenda edition should be under this section now.
Okay, and who seconded that for Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Epperson was the second. All right, any other comments, Commissioner Jackson?
No, sir.
Commissioner Epperson?
Yes. Just want you to take a look at the documents that's been provided relative to some locations for DMV in West Shreveport, West Caddo. Of course, some of you that's been here know we've been advocating that for quite some time, and it's been in our legislative priorities as well. So we're asking that this resolution would go to all of our state legislative delegates as well as Department of Public Service Commissioner in Baton Rouge to take a serious look at those locations that's spread out within that particular area. It's my understanding that the facility that they're in now is woefully in disrepair and a lot of issues, as well as issues with the leasing that's going on. Be an excellent location within Interstate 220, 3132, I-49, Highway 7980, Greenwood Road, Pines Road corridor from Industrial all the way to Lake Shore. An excellent hub for that particular venture. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Hopkins?
I would just say, after having one for 30 years in Vivian, this is probably a really good move to do this for West Shreveport. I'm gonna tell you, we have people coming from Webster and Bossier and South Caddo to the DMV, so it'll help some people in South Caddo and I think inside the city, so I think it's a good deal.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else on the board, let's vote.
And that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. We have no old business today, so we'll move forward to new business. The first item you have is to approve the use of previously approved funding for True Fund for MLK CDC for $25,000 for business entrepreneurial training.
Move to englobo and adopt 20.1 and 20.2.
We have a motion from Commissioner Johnson to englobo and adopt items 20.1 and 20.2, and that was seconded by Commissioner John Paul Young. Commissioner Johnson, any comments?
I think we talked about them all Monday.
All right. Anybody? Seeing no one on the board, let's vote, please.
All right, and that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to 20.3, which is adopting the recommendations of the Alcoholic Beverage Committee, issuing the following fines. Those fines are a $250 fine to the relay station as a first offense, $750 fine to Triple J as a third offense, and a $750 fine to Stonewall Beverage as a third offense.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Hopkins to adopt, a second from Commissioner Lazarus. Did the second. Commissioner Johnson, you're on the board?
Yeah, well, should we also say third offense and no suspension on those? Because you can't have the option of a suspension with a third offense.
I think that would be appropriate to write third offense and no suspension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let the minutes read, please, on those two third offenses that it says no suspension.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Commissioner Johnson. All right, seeing no one else on the board, let's vote, please.
All right, and that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to communiques and committee reports.
Anyone, any communiques or committee reports, please get on the board. We've got some time if y'all got something. Commissioner Burrell.
Mr. Chairman, I put in front of you, Mr. President, I put in front of you a flyer for the redistricting meeting that we're going to have at Bilderberry Park on November 4th, which is tomorrow at 5:30, 1902 Alabama. It's at the corner of Alabama and Lakeshore. Any of you are invited.
Thank you. Is that it, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clerk, you're on the board?
I just wanted to take the opportunity at this time to point out and thank our Assistant Clerk, Michelle Nations. This is her last official meeting to be serving in her role before she moves into a new role with the parish, and we just have appreciated and enjoyed working with her so much and wanted to take this opportunity to thank her. We have another little gift coming later, but for right now, I did want to give you a little something from the commissioners and us just to thank you. And
Y'all please join me.
Wanted to make sure we mentioned that. And don't kick her out the door yet. She's going to be here for a minute. Please come by and help us see her off right next week. She'll be around the office for another week or so before transitioning into her new role, and we look forward to spending some time and squeezing every bit of knowledge we can out of her.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and I will speak on behalf of the whole commission and thank you for your years of service to the Caddo Parish Commission. You've been an invaluable member of the team, and we appreciate all you've done in the past, and we'll miss you in the future. But please don't be a stranger and drop by and say hello. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since I have the mic, thank you, Michelle, for helping me adjust. When I first came on, that was pretty kind of you, and I appreciate that, and thank you for always answering probably a lot of questions that I had to ask, but you were very patient, and I appreciate you helping me get my feet wet on the new job, so thank you so much for that. Also, I'd like to mention that tonight in District 6, we're having our meeting at A.B. Palmer Park at 6 o'clock. If you would like to come through or help us spread the word, we'll be there at A.B. Palmer Park at 6 o'clock tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Epperson.
Tomorrow morning, if everyone would, we'll be having a press conference advocating all of the activities relative to Veterans Celebration Week, which would be from now through November the 13th. The Veterans Honor Ceremony, the Veterans Parade at the fairground, Operation Green Light. Further details will be tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. in the foyer of Government Plaza, 505 Travis. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson, and thank you for your leadership on all of those veteran affairs matters. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank all of the voters who participated in early voting last week. Caddo Parish surpassed its 2018 numbers. I don't know compared to 2020, but one thing that we saw was having that extra early voting satellite location. It helps, and it's, you know, hopefully the more and the longer we do it and the more we do it, people will participate more. I was at the senior fair last week, senior expo last week at the state fair, and I can't tell you the number of individuals who stopped and said, thank you so much for having this here. They truly appreciate having that opportunity to vote. One person impressed upon me that the last time they came to early vote, they end up being cited for a ticket because they stood in line, meter expired, end up getting a ticket. And so many of those seniors were very thankful for us to put that. And, you know, it's my hope that we'll continue to add some additional early vote locations throughout the parish. And so access to the ballot is very critical and important to have a active democracy. I want to encourage individuals who are watching and who may watch this via archive, and we do loop these on the channel, right? To get out and go vote next Tuesday. It's election day, and so please exercise your right to vote. If you don't vote, you forfeit your right and to have a, well, not necessarily have a say, but you forfeit certain things. I won't say you forfeit your right, but you forfeit the opportunity to complain, let me say that, about the state of things. And so please get out, exercise your right to vote on next Tuesday. Jeff, I still have not scheduled my redistricting meeting. I'm concerned that the demographer is getting to the point to where they're telling us what they're not going, what the demographer is not going to do, and times I didn't know. I thought the relationship was that the demographer worked for us and not the other way around, and so we've just about run out of dates. I know that I'm not going to get anybody in my district to come to a meeting on a Saturday or a Friday. That's just not the way it works in my district. I don't know where it works for 6. I don't know where it works for 9. I don't know where it works in 2. But I know in 3, we don't do no meeting on no Saturday or no Friday evening. That's just not going to work. And so I need him to find some more dates and more days. We're not meeting in the middle of the day either. Days that are, and what I prefer is there are organizations that already have standing meetings, if he could just be available at those meetings. And so we have to, nothing is wrong with us with having an expectation that individuals who are contracted for the parish will perform as such. I do want to take this time to also announce that the Caddo Common Park Pavilion will be opening on November 12th. There are a lot of activities that are prepared around it. I believe this is the park that the parish helped, or the portion of the park that the parish helped with and design and things like that, and funding. And so this pavilion is named in honor of Caddo Parish, and there's a lot of things that are going on that day. AJ Haynes and the Seratones will be out, but this is an opportunity for the parish to be witness and dedicate that particular pavilion. I believe our Parks and Recreation is working to program some activities there. So let's you know, this is something else that we can say that Caddo Parish is doing, and it looks great, particularly once the sun set. And if you have been paying attention, that downtown, the West Edge, and all of these areas on the perimeter of Shreveport, some things are happening, a lot of things. I've had a ribbon cutting last week at United Jewels and Lee Hardware. You need a biscuit, the sign is going up, more affordable housing there. There's lofts going up on some of these other streets. And so there's a lot happening in downtown. And so us being a part, Caddo Parish being a part, and having that naming recognition is something great to be a part of. I also want to mention my disappointment with the MPC and the City Council. And I'm asking Mr. Clark, I don't know if he's still here or not. Okay. I'm asking that, you know, something went wrong. You don't have to come up, Mr. Clark. I'm just going to make a statement here. I think it is a betrayal of trust when citizens come down and express their opposition, just like folks are expressing their opposition about Hollywood Hustler and everything else. Citizens came down about a year ago and expressed their opposition to a liquor store or more liquor on North Market. And the MPC made a decision. Well, somehow folks got together and got the rules changed. So much so to where a liquor store can be added in that area on that site without there even being a neighborhood participation plan, without there being any public input, no public notice on what was going on. And now the citizens there have what they said they did not want. And I think that's a betrayal of trust. And somebody should have said something other than the site plan is ready. Your site plan is signed off on and approved. We do not need any more liquor in North Shreveport. The Cooper Road, because rest assured, I think this is tied to that liquor store. I bet this is tied to that liquor store that they shut down on MLK. I bet that's the same thing. And we don't need people trying to figure out a loophole and how to rig the system to add more liquor in North Shreveport. We got enough. We drowning in liquor up there. And so we don't need any more. And I'm disappointed that there was not a more robust and active process to hear from citizens before that rule was changed. And we ought to be better than that. And I'm gonna lay this at the feet of the MPC because I didn't have a clue that this was taking place. Somebody should have said something. And I will not forget it. I promise I won't forget it. I also want to talk about the issue surrounding 114 Texas. Let me thank Dr. Wilson, Ms. Bryant, Attorney Bernstein, and Mr. Bartell for being active on those calls. You know, I have to just put it on the record. Unita Biscuit is affordable housing. United Jewelers and Lee Hardware is affordable housing. Ogilvy, that's affordable housing. All of that is in Caddo Commission District 3. All of it sits in downtown, on the edge of downtown. Everybody's excited about that, but we can't seem to get the excitement and momentum from the city of Shreveport and the Downtown Development Authority. I have to call a thing a thing. Business owners take a chance in this city and they are continuing to be run out. It is no reason why the development team and the owner cannot or have not, and now it's ending up in litigation, I'm understanding. That's not how we're supposed to do business. And it makes it seem like that there's a spirit of anti-fair housing or housing, because you can't say that you're for affordable housing on one block, but then you come 2 blocks over, and we don't want that over here. And so I want to be on the record of stating my disappointment with the city of Shreveport with the lack of engagement. We got the emails. Dr. Wilson, you've been on, city administration has been on every email going all the way back to March. All the way back to March. That building didn't have to burn down the way it was burned down. Somebody said it was combustible, spontaneous combustion. I think that's what Aaron McCarty said. It didn't even have to get to that. This guy could have been going up the road doing what he needed to do. But we need to come together to help business owners who take a chance, particularly when they sell it to you in that condition. I'm disappointed in that. And I have to come out and be on record in that position. Because our obligation as public officials is to, in some cases, take that risk. The banks won't take the risk. The private sector won't. But we should not sit back and fold our arms up simply because it wasn't our idea, or, you know, such and so heard about it first. That should not be the way it works. A good idea is a good idea. And we've got money on the table, and money that could have been lost had we not responded. So that's why I want to thank Dr. Wilson for at least engaging and helping to save that, because there's a desire and there's a will. And I think if folks are patient long enough, they will see. Dr. Wilson, you was on the call yesterday. There is a real commitment to getting 114 Texas rebuilt and repurposed in its rightful or to its maximum use. And those who have ideas about what they want down there, I'm sure if you step up with a check, talk to the owner and the developer, they'd be willing to listen to you. But if you're not willing to do that, you kind of got to go with what they're giving you, or nothing at all. And so we can't have our cake and eat it too. We got to have one or the other. And so that's my soapbox on that. I just want to see us do better for our city and our parish, and things like that give us a black eye. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I wanted to publicly say congratulations to you, Michelle, in your new role. You know that for me, for the last 7 years, you have literally been my right hand. I don't know what I'm going to do without you down here, but I thank you so much for your service and your passion. It is the most admirable thing that I've seen in anyone who works in this department. So I wish you all the best, and you know I'm a phone call away. I can still call you if I need something real quick. Thank you. I also wanted to, Dr. Wilson, I think you were out last time, but Mrs. Bryant handled the situation for me about the signs for the precincts at each location. I know that they won't be ready for our voting on Tuesday, but by our next voting election day, I would like to see those at those precincts. Also, on November 12th, which is next Saturday, there will be a Thankfulness Fest from 12 to 4 p.m. at Morning Start. It's at 5340 Juella Avenue. It's a family fun day, and the mission is to bring a canned good. And also, on Election Day, there will be a blood drive at Ochsner LSU Health from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So once you get through voting, or before you go and vote, stop by and give blood. And my last piece is, has an RFP for the survey been issued for the tornado sirens?
Not yet. No, ma'am, we haven't issued it yet. We're working with purchasers to prepare that RFP.
Okay. We got a timeline? Are we close?
We're at the end of the year, but those funds that we did appropriate for that does carry over.
Okay.
So we should have it out within the next, say, few months. I mean, it'll take, you gotta have it out, you gotta get it ready.
It's gonna be tornado season again. Can we put a little gas on it?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll try.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too want to give Michelle my best. She's one of the only ones I know that would answer a call, even if it's doing non-business hours. And that's exceptional, because sometimes we feel that we are off, but we all serve the public. And she gives me good information. Secondly, I have a concern here, because we need to come to some agreement with the city of Shreveport to decide who's going to pick up dead animal carcasses. Commissioner Epperson brought me a request or a complaint from a female veteran who contacted at least 6 people in the city, in property standards, public works, sanitation, and even went to the mayor's office. And no one, they kept giving her the runaround. And so she contacted the parish, and our policy is, as I understand it, that we don't remove dead animals in the city, but in the parish. She was so frustrated, I said, look, I'll come and get it. So I went to her house and bagged up the carcass and put it out on the street, because the city said that they won't pick up a carcass unless you take it out to the street. Well, what somebody did, they did come from the city. They took the carcass, put it in the backyard in the next house. And that's where I found the carcass. And there were some dogs that pulled it somewhere else too. So it was a mess, but we still have not resolved who's gonna pick up those carcasses. And we are urban commissioners, and we have no jurisdiction with the city. But if we're gonna do it in the parish, if there's a cost or something that that we can get from the city for the parish to do it, I think we need to, but we don't need a situation like that.
Okay, Dr. Wilson?
Go ahead. Yeah, typically, in the city, Commissioner Burrell, it's a sanitation issue. So the city sanitation department should respond to that.
Well, they say they don't do it.
In the parish.
I even called him, he didn't call me back, and I got a bone to pick with the mayor like that, but go ahead on.
Yes, sir. In the parish, out in the parish, we would respond if it's a large animal. Our public works from each area would respond to that appropriately, but in the city, they should respond to that.
Well, let me ask you this, and if it's on private property, they even told her that, well, it's on private property, so you need to take it and put it out to the street.
Yeah, no.
Well, if
Yeah.
they're gonna do that, hell, they may as well go and dispose of it.
Yeah, no one can, in government service, could go on your private property. That's why the city's requirements are to take it out to the curb, and they would remove it from there. But I don't think they can legally get on private property without permission or some other formality. I know we can't.
Well, at least they can get permission.
Yes, sir.
If you have a dead animal on your property, then if they're gonna pick it up and bag it, I can't see why they can't take it to the dump. Then I don't see any need to get sanitation involved if they can't go and pick it up.
Yeah, well, they should be able to. Who said they can't?
Well, they can't pick it up. They have to be on the curb in order for them to pick it up.
I mean, yeah, that's the city rules. I'm just reciting what their rules are. But
Well, that's not resolving our issues.
yeah, we don't do it in the city.
Well, that doesn't resolve the issue. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Jones?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you all.